Hi, this is Anne. Welcome to our celebration. This is our 67th anniversary of being a library here in the Arizona foothills. Let me show you a bit about where we came from and where we're going.
Cave Creek was settled in 1870, but the town grew up back in the mid-1930s. Originally it was a distant outpost from the village of Phoenix, Arizona. In the 1930s, the federal government started to build dams to bring water to the new states in the southwest. This photo is of Bartlett Dam. These are the folks who would come into the only town in the area to go to Harold's, so they could get away from where they lived in the remote camps around the dam construction sites. The dams got built and what was a wild and crazy place finally calmed down. The town got a little bit of phone service and electricity in the mid-1940s. It was still pretty rural. The town's name was still one word, and Pima and Scottsdale roads didn't even exist. Dorothy Smith had an excellent education and a lot of library experience. Dorothy came to Arizona in 1953 to work at Arizona State University in Phoenix. In the past, she also worked at the Bronx Public Library and a new library in Los Alamos, New Mexico. As the story goes, one day in the fall of 1953 she drove to Cave Creek. She fell in love with the town. Dorothy got to know more and more people from the little town, and her being a librarian at heart decided to share a collection of books with her new friends. It got so, when people saw Dorothy's dusty little car with New Mexico license plates, they would stop her and ask to see what was in the library being in the trunk of Dorothy's car. Around 1945, the dry air brought Coraline and Jack Cox into the area. Jack was in ill health because of his damaged lungs from being gassed during World War I. It's unclear how Dorothy and Coraline Cox met, but they did meet and talked. In the past, Coraline had traveled a lot, and had been involved with starting libraries in other countries. That conversation was the start of what convinced Coraline that the community needed a real library. On Valentine's Day, 1954, Coraline Cox signed a contract with Maricopa County to create the new Cave Creek Branch Library. The library was first located at the Cowbell Restaurant, at the southwest corner of Cave Creek and Basin Roads. Dorothy Smith became the first director of the library. Dorothy had an excellent education and a lot of library experience. The library had to move from the Cowbell, so she moved the collection back into the trunk of her car. Dorothy was the director from 1954 until 1966 when she retired due to her declining health. Dorothy passed away on June 15, 1974. She was 86 years old. A memorial service was held at the library on Valentine's Day, February 14, 1975, the library's 21st anniversary. At the library's beginning, it moved several times. In 1957, the Good Shepherd of the Hills Episcopal Church offered 17 feet of space in their newly constructed community hall. That location lasted for 3 years. The library was then moved to the old Cave Creek Schoolhouse, located at the corner of Cave Creek and Schoolhouse Road. It was probably old and drafty, but it was home from 1960 to 1970. In 1970, Cave Creek opened a new building at that same location that had a space for a library. But in 1975, the school gave notice that the library would again have to move. The county temporarily loaned the library their bookmobile, then the library was moved to a small apartment in Carefree. The library raised funds to purchase land and construct a new building, a forever home. 2 acres were purchased on Saguaro Hill, just north of the school. The new library plan called for a 2,000 square foot building. Construction would start soon. The grand opening of the new library was on February 14, 1977, 23 years after the library began. The new library had a new name, the Desert Foothills Library. The new library building grew over several years. In 1984, a 1,000 square foot children's wing was added. Also, in the summer of 1987, the library board of directors voted to sever ties with the Maricopa County Library Organization. At that time, the Desert Foothills Library became a privately funded nonprofit library. The local community was growing by leaps and bounds. In 1994, the library was finding the need to also expand, as the 3,000 square foot space had become much too cramped. A new construction plan was developed to remodel, by expanding the building by an additional 3,000 square feet, doubling in size. Then 10 years later, the library again needed to expand. Ground was broken in 2006 for a major overhaul of the library layout, all the while the library remained open to the community. The new layout increased the shelf space, created a conference room and meeting rooms, added computers and Wi-Fi, and created a patio and landscaping for the outdoor reading and meeting areas. This increased the library floor space to 18,900 square feet. This renovation was the beginning of the new Desert Foothills Library that is designed to serve the community into the 21st century. The library building was updated one more time in 2017. We realized that there was a need for holding a gathering larger than what could fit into the existing meeting space. In addition, if a large group attended an event, there was a problem because of the limited amount of parking. So, we decided to go through yet another construction project, adding a flexible multi-purpose meeting space and a parking structure. We also made some additional changes. We replaced the overhead fluorescent lighting with energy-efficient LED lights and brought in new movable book shelving. This would allow us to easily change the library layout. It also allows us to clear out the main room so that we could hold events that required a larger space than what would fit into the multi-purpose area. The small kitchen was renovated to make it a top-quality demonstration and catering facility. This brings us to the library building that we now see on Saguaro Hill, and a long way from the library of 1954. David Court was the director of the library from 2008 until 2020. David had previously been a library volunteer and then the circulation desk manager. David served as the library executive director until he retired in December 2020. David's guidance is what helped to make the Desert Foothills Library an important part of today's community. In the summer of 2020, the library board of directors began a search for a new executive director. The board conducted a nationwide search using a highly rated executive search firm. Ann Johnson was hired as the new executive director in the fall of 2020. Ann and her husband recently moved to Scottsdale from Texas, where Ann was the assistant director of public services for the Austin Public Library. Before that, Ann was the director of the West Pittston Library in West Pittston, Pennsylvania. The library staff make up the heart of the library. They are a small group of full-time and part-time folks who work hard to bring you the books, videos, and programs that make the Desert Foothills Library a great place to visit. If the library staff make up the heart of the library, the volunteers are the soul. There's no mincing words. Without our dedicated volunteers, we could not be available to you. Thank them when you're in the library. We are working on your library of the future. We will certainly continue to provide you with books and video and learning opportunities for you and your family. We also have a plan for where we want to go next. One of the items that is high on our list is a checkout system where you can check out an item by just swiping your library card. Quick and easy. Another thought is to create a professionally oriented work area, an office away from your regular place of business with access to computers and high-quality printers and scanners. And then there's the library of things, where you could borrow items that you may only need once. Things like cake pans or a crock pot or laptop computer or maybe a power drill. All of this and more make up the library of the future. The library building was closed to the public in March 2020. All events have been canceled and access to the building is limited to the staff and a few library volunteers. We have implemented a curbside pickup plan where you can check out a book using your home computer, with the books placed outside for you to pick up. Incoming books are quarantined for a period of time before they are put back in circulation. Very strict safety and health protocols have been implemented, as has enhanced cleaning by the custodian service. In spite of the continued shutdown because of the pandemic, the library board of directors and staff are looking forward to a good year and a good future for the library. In the past we held a big party at the library that served as a fundraiser, and also one of the largest library social events of the year. This year we're calling the event our celebration. Instead of holding it at the library, we're holding it in your living rooms. We hope the celebration will raise a bit of financial support, but it's just as important to let you know that we are okay and we will be back in normal operation soon. But we are also coming out of that year with a healthy staff and a great attitude because we believe what we do is important. We will soon be holding events in the library and you will soon be again able to browse the bookshelves. We cannot thank you enough because you have made all of this possible by your financial and moral support. One more thing. You are viewing this as a part of our event, the celebration. Yes, we are making this our Valentine's Day and it is the theme for Love Your Library Month, but it also marks a very important milestone for the library. This video has shown you where we came from, to be a part of this community. This also marks the day that this all began. February 14, 1954, 67 years ago, Corlin Cox and Dorothy Smith founded our library. Thank you for being a part of it.
This book is ridiculous. Can I stop reading yet? No. There are more pages. I have to read the rest. My only friend in the whole wide world is a hippo named Boo Boo Butt.
Johnson again. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and thank you for ensuring that the library is here for the community today and tomorrow.
Good dog.